So I know a lot of you don't want to talk about politics. I know I'm not a fan of politics personally, but I still feel interested in talking about politics, at least in the aspect of which I'll be talking about in this video, which is how it's changed over time, at least how I view politics in today's world, and how I see politics from before I was born. Because I've always seen politics as like this large, this machine, this like strange, evil machine that keeps on churning out all these bad things in the world, and how it always seems to be destroying things everywhere it goes, and how the systems that are in place seem intent on destroying us. And I feel like a lot of people my age kind of look at politics like that, like this very unnerving machine, this very scary kind of monster. It's always interesting to me when I look up old political things like debates and speeches and whatever else from back in like the 60s and 70s. Especially, I looked up this old thing about JFK. He was talking about some civil rights thing, and it really interested me to see how he was talking. He talked like a professional. He talked like a man with some sense, basically. I feel like that's like the one thing that fascinated me the most, is that he didn't come off like a power hungry maniac. He came off like someone who had his head on his shoulders. He came off like he knew what he was doing, and that he had the best interests of the people in mind. And I actually felt very moved by what he was saying, despite the fact that it had been 60 years ago, or over 60 years ago, and whatever you said didn't really have, I guess, relevance, I suppose, because it already happened. I suppose relevance isn't the right word, but that's the best way I could think of it right now. And I compare it to how it is today, and it feels very strange to look at, to see these squabbling idiots running our governments and destroying everything around them to fit their own personal agendas, to cover up their crimes, to increase or fatten their wallets. I feel very confused sometimes when I compare these two things, because they feel like two completely different worlds. I feel like politics now is like a cage match where whoever politician is just hurling insults at the other, and vice versa. Now, I don't know why I said vice versa, but politicians just throwing insults at each other and just trying to tear each other down in order to gain some more power amongst whoever else they feel they're being attacked by, and to control easier whoever it is that is supporting them. And so it's strange to look at old footage of people like JFK or Nixon or even Obama and see how calm their demeanor is, and how put together they are, and how intelligently they speak. It's all very strange to witness, and I suppose that in some ways I feel very confused by why, because I've never seen such a politician. I mean, I did grow up during the Obama administration, but I was pretty young then. I was about 12 when Trump got elected the first time, so I wasn't paying attention to politics. Obviously, I was 12. What do you know about politics when you're 12? The other thing that I did notice socially about politics is how divided people are now. And it seems very strange to me when I hear people say that, we should hear people out and listen to their opinions now, because I feel like people's opinions now are so extreme. There's only one way or the other way, and there's no nuance, there's no discourse or anything of that sort of nature. And I'm not saying that I'm infallible to this. I'm very much gone to a bit more of an extreme now than I think I would have said 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago, I was 12, 10 years ago. I don't know why. Point is that I feel like politics now has pushed people to taking sides and deciding that they have to stand on one extreme over the other, because the middle ground is pretty much gone. There is no room to be a centrist or in the middle. I guess the only time you can be in the middle is when you're tired of everything and just want it all to stop. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in anymore. And so, I think that politics, when it comes to society, is pretty much destroyed us. We've become very jaded, we've become very divided, we've become very isolated. We don't have any sort of communication amongst each other, because the times have proven that we can't have a dialogue, because such a thing, I guess, is outdated. We are now in a time where you have to pick some side, you have to pick some idea and stick with it so long as you believe in it. And you can't really criticize it, although I still believe you should criticize anything that you feel is not totally up to snuff. But I feel like that these extremes just sort of let us all into this sort of division where we can't really come together and solve the issue. Who's to blame for that? I feel is a much more nuanced question than people realize, because there's so many fingers you can blame. You can blame Trump, you can blame I don't know, Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or J.D. Vance or whoever else. You can blame as many people as you want, but there's no one central figure to blame for it, because so many people brought us to this point. But I think the general thought for me is that politics has divided us so much that I feel like we can't really get together now and solve anything unless we have something worth standing on together. And I don't know what that is, because apparently the Epstein files can't even unite people at this point. So if the Epstein files can't unite you to do something about all of this, then I don't know what will. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about that, so I'll just leave it there. See ya.